Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here in June. I'm very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Hello and welcome back to Big Mouth, and you can keep this or any other conversation I incite going over on my Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome to the Doctor Who Daily. And today we're talking Big Finish versus live action Doctor Who, because a big talking point was incited, I suppose, in this week's episode, The Haunting of the whatever Diodati. I can't even remember the bloody title. But something happened that contradicts Big Finish. So we are going to talk about that. But first, BBC America posted this. Now, I don't know who this is, but her name is Jamie, right? And this is what BBC America had to say. This is the second TARDIS, like a bird in the sky, that's her Instagram handle, has spotted in the wild. Coincidence or a sign of what the future holds for Jamie? So I don't know who Jamie is. I don't even know if she's an actor or what, but this sounds very ominous, right? Could she be the second Doctor we've never met before? Could she be the next Doctor? I've made a prediction, haven't I? That this is Jodie Whittaker's last season as the Doctor. It's a prediction. It's probably crap, but I do believe one of these new people that we don't know is the Doctor, could be replacing Jodie as the Doctor. It's nuts, because Craig Chibnall is going to, in this two-part finale, especially in the finale, episode 10, he's going to trigger so many old-school Doctor Who fans, and the conversation is going to break Twitter, and I can't wait. So her name's Jamie, right? So we go on to her Instagram, right? If we can, yes. So I'm following her now. I don't really know her, but I thought I'd follow her just in case something kicks off. And she posts this. Spotted my second TARDIS in the wild. Time travelling is definitely in my future. Or the past. So it's very, very interesting. So I'll show you when this stupid person stops calling me. Right. There you go. That's Jamie. She's probably one of the Doctors we haven't met yet. It's very exciting. She's obviously involved in the finale. I can't wait. What Chibnall is doing is exciting. Whether you like him or you hate him or you don't agree with him casting Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor because she's female, or you don't rate her as the Doctor, doesn't matter. This arc is freaking exciting, and I can't wait to see how it pans out. But away from that, this video is about Big Finish versus live action. Now, Big Finish was flying the flag for Doctor Who when the dumb BBC actually cancelled the show, right? Big Finish is extremely important. Personally, it should all be canon. It should all be the same thing. Nothing should stamp on, Big Finish shouldn't stamp on live action, and live action, the TV show, shouldn't stamp on Big Finish. Now, I don't know Big Finish so well. I've listened to some 8th Doctor adventures. I've listened to some other adventures, but I don't know it so well, right? You can actually go on Spotify and listen to Big Finish for free. But anyway, right, they're brilliant. And Big Finish don't just do Doctor Who. They've expanded, right? Is it Nick Pegg? What a job. Is it Nick Pegg? I can't remember his name now. But the guy who runs Big Finish and Doctor Who is amazing. I think he should run both universes. That would probably stop the situation of, Big Finish and live action treading on each other's toes, right? What is his name? Is it Nicholas? I forgot his bloody name. Anyway, doesn't matter. Nicholas Briggs. Nick Briggs, of course. It is Nick Briggs, isn't it? Yeah. I would prefer Nick Briggs run Big Finish and live action, and hopefully maybe he will be the next one to step into that, and I would be very, very excited about that. So, anyway, in this week's Doctor Who that's just gone by, we know that Mary Shelley was in the episode. Now, in the Big Finish Doctor Who adventures, Mary Shelley did actually travel with the 8th Doctor. Never listened to it, don't know what happened, don't know about the timeline, I know nothing about it. I do know from other fans, right, saying basically the Doctor should have remembered Mary Shelley, and maybe Mary Shelley should have remembered the Doctor. I don't know. I don't know if there was a mind wipe or anything. I don't understand. This is a situation, I mean, it doesn't bother me that much, but I think it's sad for the fans of Big Finish and Doctor Who fans who love Big Finish and love live action Doctor Who as well. And I don't think one should cancel out the other. If the Doctor and Mary Shelley kind of travel together, there should be a reference to it. And I think it's a bit stupid. Now, obviously, Mary Shelley isn't going to remember the Doctor, right? Now, she could remember the term Doctor and say, well, hang on a minute, I used to travel with a doctor. But then again, because the Doctor looks so different, Mary Shelley isn't going to say, oh, I knew a doctor once. Oh, look, she's a woman. She ain't going to clock on that this is the Doctor. I don't even think that Mary Shelley even ever sees the TARDIS, I don't think. So basically, right, the only thing, I suppose, the only stumbling block here is that the Doctor doesn't mention Mary Shelley. I don't think that means they're treading over the canon and they're saying it's not canon, because the Doctor may have decided not to mention that for any reason, or forgot to mention that. I personally think there should have been a reference, and I think Maxine Alderton actually did a good job of kind of, making this an episode that's really steeped in Doctor Who. Maxine seemed to get that, and I said that in my review yesterday for this episode. But as I say, I'm not overly triggered about it, but I do think it's important that everyone understands that Big Finish and live-action Doctor Who are all Doctor Who. It shouldn't be one versus the other. It's the same thing. It's all Doctor Who, and it should all matter, and it all counts. Because what's great about these audio adventures is you can bring an elderly Sylvester McCoy, and it doesn't matter that he's elderly because all you're hearing is his voice. The same with Paul McGann. We're hoping that Christopher Eccleston could get involved. I know that David Tennant himself has been involved with Big Finish as well. Not too sure about Matt Smith. Someone could comment down below. I don't know if he's done any adventures. I hope he does in the future if he hasn't. Tom Baker has definitely been involved as well. And they're doing great stuff all the time. So, as I say, it's important that we understand one isn't more important than the other. It's all Doctor Who. It all needs to be appreciated. Now, I don't have time in my day to listen to Big Finish. Imagine this, right? I love binging the whole of Doctor Who or whatever classics I've got, and then I go to Doctor Who the movie, and then I go to New Who, right? I'd absolutely love to be able to binge the classics, go back to Big Finish, and then binge New Who. That would be an amazing binge. But who's got enough time in their day to do that? That would be amazing, because to me, it genuinely is all the same. And as I say, Nicholas Briggs, what he's done. This Big Finish was, as I say, flying the flag for Doctor Who when he wasn't around. Brilliant. We had no Doctor Who anymore. How devastating. Because I know that we live and breathe Doctor Who. It's such a fabulous concept, a fabulous show. And I think it is so important that we understand that live action isn't superior to Big Finish and Big Finish isn't superior to live action. Now, if you have a preference and you think what they're doing on Big Finish is more Doctor Who than what they're doing in live action right now, then that's up to you. But I thought I'd just mention now on today's Doctor Who Daily, because I think it's important that we respect both kind of avenues, because to me, they're all Doctor Who. Bit disappointing that the Doctor didn't mention her previous relationship with Mary Shelley, but I'm still saying it doesn't mean they're not saying it's canon, and hopefully in the future, in a Doctor Who episode, we may see Mary Shelley again, and it may be mentioned. Now, ratings report. I think it got about this Sunday's episode got 3.8 million or something like that. So it's a bit of a jump from last week. Let me be clear here, and I say this every week. I know that the people on the agenda train who want Doctor Who to be destroyed to prove that casting a female was a bad idea are sitting there by their computer screens. Doctor Who ratings, Doctor Who ratings. They come in. This is terrible. This is bad. Or apparently this week's ratings are the worst in New Who history. Now, I actually thought that Capaldi's era, season 10, had worse ratings, but somebody else again can comment down below and tell me that. Listen, this show averages from about 4.5 million viewers after all said and done, not just overnight, to 5 million and sometimes over 5 million. That they are good. solid ratings. Doctor Who may not be getting the high ratings that we had under RTD, but the ratings are still very, very competitive. So ratings-wise, this might not be the most successful era ever, but it doesn't matter. Since Chibnall's come in, I've said it before and I'll say it again, the BBC are investing more and more money in this show. Season 11, brand new high-tech cameras. The production values are even greater for Season 12, and the investment will get even higher and higher for Season 13 and Season 14. Doctor Who is not going anywhere. It's making the BBC a hell of a lot of money around the world. And as I say, just because it's not as successful ratings-wise, it doesn't mean it's failed. It's not going anywhere. You can rant and rave on your hatred for Chibnall and this era. That is your right not to like it, right? I was you during Season 11. I was on the agenda train. I was chucking the coal in the engine, right? Oh, Jodie. Oh, Chibnall. This is bad. This is terrible. I've lost all love for Doctor Who now. I can't watch it anymore. This is like The Last Jedi. I was saying all this stuff. So now I want to talk about why I think I was quite wrong about Season 11. Actually, this could be a separate video, right? But I'm not going to do that to you. We're going to talk because this is the Doctor Who Daily after all. Oh, and I love talking to you guys about Doctor Who. I could chinwag about Doctor Who all day. I just don't have the time to do it. But anyway, right, so Season 11 was this slow burn. I believe that Season 11 was the slow burn to a darker Doctor. Chris Chibnall had a plan. So when we first meet the 13th Doctor, she's so positive and bright and bubbly. The stark opposite to Capaldi's 12th Doctor. She's glad to be back. She's glad. You hear this from, Capaldi's Doctor was suicidal. He was trying not to regenerate. So when he allows himself to regenerate, she is relieved that she didn't literally commit suicide. And you hear this from suicide victims a lot, don't you? I tried to kill myself, but I'm so glad that I failed. And some people who try and kill themselves are angry that they don't succeed. But this is a Doctor that's happy to be alive. It's another chance for her. And she's back. So in Season 12, we see this steady journey to her resenting her companions, finding out that everything she knows is a freaking lie. Meeting versions of herself she's never met before. The Doctor's lost and confused. She doesn't know what's going on. And, the Doctor's always been the cleverest person in the room. And that's not the case now. The Master knows more than she does. That pisses her off. You can bet your TARDIS on that, right? And so what's going to be revealed in the finale is devastating for her. But that's not all, right? Why did Chris Chibnall decide to have Cybermen in the finale? Why is this about this great cyber battle? Because the Doctor has lost many companions to the Cybermen. We know the tragedy around Adric, staying on that ship and the ship blowing up. That was because of the Cybermen. We know what happened to Bill Potts as well in Season 10. The Doctor referenced that, kind of, without referencing her name, in this week's episode as well. One thing the Doctor doesn't want is to have her friends be killed or assimilated as Cybermen. And I think this is what's going to happen. What the roadmap is in the Chibnall era is to build up this darker, torn Doctor. And you think about it, it's quite a smart idea to start her all smiley and bubbly, kind, always apologising in Season 11, which I criticised because I said the Doctor should never apologise and the Doctor should never be flawless. But this was building us back to this dark, bitter, flawed Doctor. Because if all her companions die, if a couple of them are assimilated by the Cybermen, she's going to be angry and she's going to be bitter and she's going to be a better Doctor for it in Season 13. And I genuinely believe this is what Chibnall has been attempting to do. A slow burn to a darker Doctor. And if that's the case, I absolutely 100% back Chris in this narrative. It's a really clever way of doing it. And I think this is where we're going. As I say, this is a Doctor who thought she knew it all. And all of a sudden, she's going to realise that they wiped her mind, that they stole her mind, they stole her life. They stole her life and they stole the Master's life. And it's all going to be revealed in this finale. And for me, that's exciting. And yes, I was on the agenda train against Jodie and against Chris Chibnall last year. I genuinely found the episodes after episode 3 watered down, dull and boring. But now I see what he was attempting to do, and it's really, really clever. Ultimately, I love Doctor Who. I want this show to survive. I want this show to be good. I want this show to be the best show on the planet. And I think after this finale, a lot more people are going to be coming back to watch Doctor Who. But what do you think? What do you think about the debate, Big Finish versus live action? Comments down below. Do you agree with me that this whole thing that Chibnall's been doing is a slower burn back to a darker Doctor? I hope that's the case. That's my theory. Comment down below, like the video, share the channel, and I'll be back tomorrow with even more Doctor Who Daily. See you again. I can't wait.